High in the Himalayas, in a monastery where silence was deeper than the snow that fell around it, lived an old monk named Rinpoche. He was neither famous nor hidden. His presence existed like the wind, invisible yet unmistakable. People made pilgrimages across continents to sit with him in silence. They didn't come for answers, but for something more precious, a reflection of truth. One winter, a woman came from a distant land, her body frail, her spirit crushed under the weight of grief. Her child had died in his sleep. Her questions were heavy, trembling on her lips. Why? Why would the divine allow such pain? Why this unbearable emptiness? The monk did not speak. He led her outside to a fire crackling in the icy stillness. He pointed to the flames. "Watch," he whispered. The woman sat beside him for hours, silent, consumed by the roaring questions within her. But the fire had its own language, one without words. It danced, it devoured, it warmed, it glowed, it flickered. Days passed. She kept returning to that same fire, always in silence. And something began to happen, not to the fire, but within her. Her questions didn't vanish, but they began to lose their sharpness. Her grief was still present, but it began to breathe. The agony remained, but the fear slowly unraveled. And then, one day, as dawn kissed the white mountains, she whispered, "I see. The fire destroys, yes, but it also transforms." Rinpoche smiled gently. "Exactly. That is suffering. To live is to suffer. This truth is not cynical, it is sacred. Every soul walking this earth will, at some point, meet sorrow, the loss of love, the sting of betrayal, the ache of emptiness, the collapse of identity. And in these moments we ask, why? Why must life contain so much pain? What is the point of suffering? Is it divine punishment? Is it random cruelty? Is it simply the chaos of a universe without meaning? Or could it be something else entirely? The spiritual path does not offer an escape from suffering. Rather, it invites us to enter it more deeply, not to indulge it, but to understand it, not to resist it, but to be transformed by it. Suffering is not an enemy. It is not a mistake. It is not the result of a broken universe. Suffering is a sacred function of consciousness, a fire not of destruction alone, but of revelation. When we are comfortable, when life flows easily, we rarely question anything. We settle, we assume, we hold tightly to our illusions. But pain has a unique power. It disrupts, it shakes us, it dismantles our identities, our expectations, our false control. It brings us to our knees. And when we are on our knees, something begins to happen. Not always immediately, not always gracefully, but eventually, if we allow it, suffering becomes the threshold through which we step into a new way of seeing. Because it is only when we are broken that we begin to see what cannot be broken. Only when the outer identity shatters do we glimpse the inner essence. Pain does not reveal who you are, it reveals what you are not. The grief of losing a loved one strips away the illusion of permanence. The betrayal of a friend unveils the illusion of control. The failure of a dream reveals the illusion of identity. Each crack, each collapse, opens a doorway, and behind that door lies something eternal, something real. Suffering asks not for answers, but for surrender. Not in weakness, but in deep, sacred strength. The strength to let go of who you thought you were. The strength to face the darkness without trying to escape it. The strength to feel fully without shutting down. When you stop running from your pain, when you turn toward it with open eyes, you begin to see it clearly. Not as a punishment, not as a curse, but as a sacred fire that has come to refine you. In many spiritual traditions, suffering is seen as a kind of initiation. The soul, before birth, chooses its path, not in terms of events, but in terms of evolution. And evolution does not happen in ease. It happens in friction. Growth is uncomfortable. Awakening is disorienting. Transformation is painful. But pain, when held in awareness, becomes a portal. The fire of suffering burns away the layers of ego. It strips us of what is not eternal. And in that stripping, the light of the soul is revealed. The ancient mystics spoke of the dark night of the soul, a time when the divine seems absent, a time when all light is gone, and the seeker feels abandoned. But they also knew that this darkness was not the end. It was the womb of rebirth. It was the silence before revelation. The soul is not dying, it is being born anew. And just like a child must leave the comfort of the womb to breathe the air of a new world, so must we be pushed, torn, shaken out of the old to be reborn into the real. You may not know it yet, but the pain you're carrying holds a key. Not a key to escape, but a key to unlock the truth buried deep within you. You are not your pain, but your pain can guide you home. When you sit with your suffering, not as a victim, but as a witness, you begin to hear its deeper voice. Beneath the cry of agony is the whisper of awakening. Beneath the chaos is a quiet stillness, waiting for you to notice. There is something within you that has never been harmed, something untouched by time, by loss, by fear. Suffering brings you closer to that eternal essence, not because it adds to you, but because it takes away everything that is not you. And yes, it is hard. It is terrifying, can feel like death, but in truth, it is life beginning again. It is your soul shedding the skin of illusion. Sometimes suffering is personal. Sometimes it is ancestral. Sometimes it is collective. You may carry wounds that are not yours. You may feel grief that echoes through generations. You may bear the weight of a world that feels too heavy. And yet, you are still breathing. You are still here. The fact that you are still standing, even in your sorrow, means something is alive within you that cannot be destroyed. You are not weak. You are not cursed. You are not lost. You are in the fire of transformation. Let it burn what must be burned. Let it reveal what must be revealed. And when the flames die down, you will find yourself not in ashes, but in light. You are not broken. You are breaking open. Do not rush the process. Do not demand to understand it all. Just stay close to your own heart. Be tender with your wounds. Be patient with your becoming. And when the world feels too loud, return to the silence inside you. That silence is not empty. It is full of sacred presence. That silence is where healing begins. Let your tears fall. Let your anger rise. Let your questions shout. The divine can hold it all, but also let stillness grow between those moments. Let trust quietly root itself in your chest. Let the knowing arise not from thought but from deep, felt experience. The fire that once seemed to destroy you will one day illuminate you. You will look back and see not a trail of wounds, but a path of wisdom. And you will whisper, perhaps not aloud, but deep within, thank you. Not because you enjoyed the suffering, not because you wanted it, but because through it you remembered who you really are. So if you are suffering now, know this, there is something sacred unfolding in you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished. You are being shaped. And though you may not see it yet, one day you will stand in the light that this very darkness made possible. And in that moment you will realize you were never lost. You were only being led home.